Bam, what's goody? Baywood here, and in today's video, I'm showing you 5 music production tricks that completely leveled up my music game. Now, these are my top 5, and I guarantee if you watch to the end that at least one of them will help improve your music and make you 1% better today. Number 1, workflow awareness. Discovering and understanding your producer workflow is first and foremost. Personally, I prefer to produce beats and instrumentals in Ableton and then final mix and master in Logic Pro X. My goal when producing is to be able to think of something and instantly find it. The way I learn my workflow is by making music in multiple softwares like FL, GarageBand, Logic, Ableton, and more. And over time, I found what works with my brain. They're all great, by the way, but they all have a different layout, and that is essential to how we create. When I produce, I'm super messy, and I use tons of tracks, plugins, and it's very chaotic. So the endless grouping and search feature on Ableton is what works with my producer workflow. On the other hand, Logic is perfect for mixing and mastering because of the way it simplifies audio tracks for the way my engineer brain works. Even though I end up mixing 90% of my songs inside the Ableton session, I like to do final engineering in a whole different session with stems. This is useful because I treat Ableton like my playhouse and Logic Pro like my cleanup crew, where I know I can stay organized and be able to take up my emotions out of it and make it sound as good as possible. Number 2, the default template. This is one of the most powerful tricks I learned to speed up my creativity and speed. I used to produce from complete scratch until I realized some things were just wasting my time that could otherwise be automated. On my template, I have an EQ and gain plugin on every default track because I always use those 2 plugins. On my master, I also have a limiter that has a ceiling of -0.3, so my tracks never clip, and when needed, I can easily turn up the gain to hear the song pushed. Also, when I want to record a quick vocal, I have a preset with vocal effects and auto-tune always ready to go. When I lay out drums, I can quickly lay out a beat and then replace the MIDI, but I'll be honest, I tried to overcomplicate this and automate everything in producing, but I find with a simple default template that is quick and organized goes a long way and lets my creativity flow without putting me in a box. I highly suggest keeping your default template very simple because you don't want to box your creativity in. I also have a different one for mixing and mastering. You can check out my free producing and mixing templates below after this video. By the way, guys, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, make sure to smash that like button. It really helps the channel. Number 3, drum racking. This trick saves me so much time on drum selection. I used to spend hours replacing drum samples because the samples weren't hitting or blending right with my songs. It's easy for a couple days to go by, then you realize that kick doesn't fit and you want to change it, but it's a hassle changing out all the audio samples. Having main drums on their own track MIDI is how I'm able to find drums that work on my song. This is important because the kick and snare is the most important to make your song slap and make sense. When you put them on drum racks, you can easily change out the sounds quickly and not worry about the arrangement or placement. You can focus purely on making the drums fit the vibe. This saves me so much time because sound selection is super important and you need to have the right drum selection on every song or it's going to feel amateur. Number 4, sampling and looping. Samples and loops are my favorite way to catch an initial vibe to create a dope track. I used to get caught up in, oh my god, should I use drum samples or make my own? Should I use MIDI? Should I use real guitar or loops? Until I realized the end listener just doesn't give a fuck. Your job and goal is to make a vibe that feels right to you and hopefully it feels good to others if that's your goal. I personally like to start with atmosphere and then find something that inspires me and then go from there. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll turn a podcast on in the background and go through loops until I hear something that inspires me. And sometimes I find nothing that inspires me. And that's okay. I don't beat myself up anymore because we cannot force creativity. And sometimes you have to initialize creativity. For me, I get super creative off hearing atmospheres of different sounds in the background. I start imagining and I start thinking of a whole sound and an idea just from, something simple as this. However, in most cases, it's a sample or loop that inspires a whole song idea. Do whatever you have to do to make your ears pleased. A book that helped me with this is Steal Like an Artist. Once you realize nothing is original and that all great artists steal, producing becomes a lot more freeing and fun and leaves more room for experimenting without limits. Number 5, reproduce. I've made hundreds of songs that I'll never release because that's a common trait for anybody that makes music or art. Obviously, we're not going to release all our music. However, in a lot of these tracks that are sitting on our computers and hard drives, there's that one little special element, and it probably just doesn't have the right production to really take it to the next level. And that's why you don't want to release it. So the idea sits and nothing ever gets done with it. It's like wasted space. This trick changed my life most recently. I was really out of creativity from making something from scratch. So I decided to go through all of my project files and organize them, and I found this dope track. It's a nice catchy vocal and a cool guitar. And I asked myself, how could I reproduce this to make it 10x better and still keep, that catchy vibe? And I ended up with my single, Let's Make a Movie, that I have released on all platforms, and it's really growing right now. It's a song that I created in the worst time possible in my life when I was feeling alone 3 months into chemo, dealing with stage 4 cancer. However, I didn't let that stop me from creating my life movie, from doing what I love to do. It made me actually double down on my own music. We don't need to let anything stop us from following what we really believe and want to do with our life. Continue your movie. Don't let anybody or anything stop it. By the way, if you're interested in hearing my song Let's Make a Movie or supporting my music, you can check out my music using the links down below. Bam, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. And if you made it this far, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Please comment down below which of the 5 tricks that you like the most. I really appreciate it. And if you have any video ideas or questions about anything, please comment them down below. We reply to all comments, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.